All right, this is probably coming out a bit late, but like I've told you guys before, I'm in college. I work nearly full time. So I get these videos out when I can. There are some games that I can't even watch at all because of college or work. So I, luckily, did get to see yesterday's game. Real Madrid defeated Monaco at home, 6-1. Very good performances from some players that I've been very, critical of over the last few weeks. But that doesn't change a thing. My words still stand. My opinion still stands. And the facts are still there. Let's get into it. First of all, I'm going to go in order of my notes. So this may look all over the place. I will get better with my organization as I make these videos. I, as most of you know, am more used to the short form TikTok, kind of just word vomit while recording for a minute or two. Okay, so right now the camera's a little bit in the way. Let me just move this here. Okay, so something that I immediately noticed in yesterday's match and that made things significantly more dangerous for us in the attacking third was Mastantuono being on the right wing. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that our best form of the season and like our best performances and record and the clean sheets, we were very defensively sound at the beginning of the season. Not as much anymore. That all was happening while he was starting, before he got that injury, right? As soon as he got that injury, things kind of tapered off. Things started to look a little bit different. Now, why is that? Well, as I've been saying for a very long time, a left-footed right winger changes the dynamics of the team so much. We have been a left side of the field team for the last 3 years, right? Everything we do goes through the left because we haven't had that left footer that can cut in from the right wing and cause danger. We also have had a lot of inconsistencies with who the right back is, right? Different right back profiles impact how the winger is supposed to play, right? And vice versa. So he causes immediate danger. He creates the first goal. I know Valverde's the one that got the assist, but Mastantuono picks it up on the right wing. He's composed, he's calm. He finds that little gap to find Valverde. Valverde sets Mbappe up for a great finish. And that brings me to another talking point just very quickly. We need to create more chances where the ball's ending up at the top of the box. Kind of like that Manchester City Pep Guardiola style from like 3-4 years ago. That's what it needs to be because we don't have a center forward that's making those back post runs or crashing the box. I know Bellingham used to do it. He has to play deeper now since Vinny and Mbappe don't want to defend. And Mbappe refuses to get in the box whatsoever because he's afraid of a little bit of contact. So if we can continue to score goals from these top-of-the-box cutbacks, by all means, that's something we might have to implement, and I suspect it's something Arbeloa has already noticed himself. Now, let me get a quick sip. What else did I talk about? Yeah, so no, Mastantuono is great. Also, on the defensive side of things, he helps tremendously. Unlike Vinny and unlike Mbappe, he tracks back the whole game. He presses, right? He brings that Argentinian grit into the team that we so desperately need. My next talking point. I made a TikTok about this a few months ago, and I didn't get as much hate as I usually do. Right? I got a little bit of comments like, yo, are you crazy? Why would you do this? Blah, blah, blah. This is so stupid. This doesn't make sense. What I said in that video was, let's play Camavinga as a left wingback. And we can have him do that Pep Guardiola style inverted fullback, right? So he's a left back on paper, but he can come into midfield, but he's also dropping as a traditional left back when we're out of possession. He can also go down the line and overlap Vinny, blah, 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 all that stuff. Camavinga has the skill set to do every single one of these things. He is naturally a midfielder anyways. He could play that inverted role, no problem. He'd just be doing what he already knows how to do. And I think it showcased yesterday. Now, granted, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're playing a team that's 9th in League One, the worst of the top 5 leagues. No offense to them, but they are, right? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. He had a very good performance at left back, and that heel flick he did to set up Goulet for the through ball to Vinny was just like unbelievable. Like, I don't know many left backs that can do that. Like, I genuinely was getting like Marcelo vibes, even though he's not a left back. It's just like that skill, that trickery that Camavinga has to get out of tight pockets of space, to create something out of nothing, right? But also having the physical capabilities and the intelligence to play as a left back, right? Like, I don't see why not. Now, this begs the question of, like, where does Carreras go? Well, I say if we play a back 5, I know this will never work, but in a hypothetical sense, this game proved that it would work. I don't think we'll ever continue to do it long term because the egos and divas that we have at this club are like, nope, we can only play 4-3-3. But Carreras would be a third center back, right? 3-5-2, but 5-3-2 in defense. Camavinga left wing back. Carreras is part of the back line. Huijsen is part of the back line. One of Rudiger, Militao, or Asensio. Definitely not Alba because he's gone at the end of the season anyways. Probably Rudiger is too. And then one of Carvajal or Trent or Fede on the right. I think that would work fantastic. And Trent could also do that inverted role. Fede Valverde could obviously also do that inverted fullback role. They're Fede Valverde is a midfielder, and Trent did that inverted role at Liverpool. This will never happen because of the stubbornness of the squad, but oh well. Just an idea. Let's get into my favorite talking point of the video. Vinny Jr. Now, as you guys all know, I, along with other Madrid pages that are 150 times bigger than me, I've been very critical of Vinny Jr. over the last year and year and a half. Let's clarify this whole Vinny thing. I love this version of Vinicius Jr. Works hard, passionate, skillful, direct, confident, not afraid, silent, not arguing with referees, not intentionally rage baiting the opposition players and making it all about him, not taking fouls personally, because every single good player gets fouled. I'll never forget when Jose Mourinho said, I worry about Eden Hazard because he might not be able to play football at some point because of how much he gets fouled. Right? It's just, when you're a good player, that's what happens. That's the version of Vinny Jr. that I love. Let me tell you the version of Vinny Jr. that I don't love. Not pressing. Not recovering on defense. Being in a tug of war with Mbappe about who the star of the show is. Because clearly, if they're both on different pages, that's not going to work. Withholding contract demands. Asking for the wages of the greatest player in club history when he has not put up 1/4 of the numbers that legend has put up. I'm talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Publicly feuding with his manager, which obviously deharmonizes the dressing room. I don't know what goes on in the dressing room. I've never been in the dressing room. But when you publicly have a problem with your manager, I am sure it causes problems in the dressing room. It doesn't take 1/4 of a brain to realize that. That is the version of Vinny Jr. that I do not like. The one that's making everything about himself. Now, I got a bunch of comments on my TikTok saying, oh, wow. Vinny had 3 GA. Talk now, talk now, talk now. Some of you guys have this relationship with Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr. is your toxic girlfriend. She has all the red flags, but then at the end of the day, she's like, oh, sweetie, I love you so much, honey. She cooks you a nice meal. And then you forget about all the bad. All the bad. You forget about the fact that she's cheating on you, or that she's talking to other dudes, or that blah, blah, blah. That's what this is. Having a 3 GA performance against 9th in League One Monaco at home, which, by the way, the only reason he had it was because of how naive their coach was. No disrespect to the coach, but it's like, why do you continue to play that high of a line? It's clearly worked for every other team that played in a low block against us and hit us on the counter that we are incapable of finding a result against that sort of team. And you come to the Bernabeu and that's how you line your team up? I'm not saying I know better. I'm not a professional coach. I'm just some random dude in the Midwest in America. But it's just like, I don't need to be a professional coach to know that, like, every time we've dropped points, it's because the team either pressed the soul out of us and actually did it well, or played a low block and didn't allow us any space. Yet he came into the game at the Bernabeu, our home, gave us a ton of space for the 2 fastest players on the planet to attack, and expected a good result. Like, that's the only reason we scored a lot of goals. When I look at Barca, they can play against any system and score 5, 6, 7 goals. Like the Valencia team that we barely beat 2-1, Barca beat 7-1, 6-1 in one season. But that is what it is. So, yeah, back to the whole Vinny thing. guys, I don't hate Vinny. I am Vinny out if he continues to do the things he's been doing, which is like making everything about him, not playing for the badge, public feuds with the manager, not doing what the manager asked, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, this club has been successful because of how demanding the fans are and because of how cutthroat the culture is at this club. If you are not performing, the fans will let you know, the board will let you know, everyone will let you know, the world will let you know. This is nothing new. These new gen Real Madrid fans don't understand what it was like when 10 years ago I was watching the greatest player in the club's history get booed for 3 games in a row because he had gone 4 games, 5 games without a goal. Do you know what he went and did? He went and scored from 35 yards out against Celta Vigo and shushed everybody. Rather than just moping on Instagram, changing his profile picture from him in a Real Madrid kit to him in a Brazil kit, blah, blah, blah. Show that elite mentality. Remember his tweet after he lost the Ballon d'Or? Oh, I'm going to do it 10x. I'm going to do what I did 10x. You've done negative 30x! And then you ask for Cristiano Ronaldo's wages. I don't know how you guys keep defending this guy. You guys just think this guy has scored in 2 Champions League finals, so we're going to defend him no matter what. My homie could lend me $30. My homie could give me a ride to work. But then like 2 weeks later, he steals something from my crib. Am I still going to root for my homie? Am I still going to, make it make sense? I know that's like a completely different world and like a very broad analogy, but you guys get the point. At least I hope you get the point. Let's move on from Vinny. We'll come back and do it. Huijsen. The reason why. Huijsen is convincing in possession. He's decent at carrying the ball and progressing the ball forward. I still have question marks against him defensively. Balogun gave him an absolute nightmare. That dude needs to hit a bulk. He needs to link up with Chris Bumstead. He needs to consume 5,000 calories a day. And this guy needs to put some size on him because he's still young. I give the guy some time. He's 20, right? He will get a little bit bigger and stronger, blah, blah, blah. He's not the quickest anyways, which is why I said in my previous video, he is definitely a back 3 center back. He's a Xabi Alonso signing for sure. I don't think he can be as successful in a back 2. He needs a more physical, athletic, quick center back or 2 next to him and let him be the primary ball progressor. He's the Toni Kroos at the back. Obviously not the same level, but that's kind of the profile that he is. Next talking point. The noticeable drop-off in intensity after we go up by a few goals is incredibly frustrating. It is really annoying. I know we scored a lot of goals, but there was like a 15, 20, 25-minute stretch yesterday where after we were 2-0 up, we let our foot off the gas really hard. And it's just something I hate to keep comparing to Barca, but obviously it's Real Madrid versus Barca at the end of the day. Barca doesn't let their foot off the gas. Everyone on that team works for 90 minutes. It's like us, it's like, okay, well, we're up. We don't really need to try as hard. And it just baffles me. Then eventually they got it together and they went and scored 3, 4, 5, 6 goals. Fantastic. Why do we not do this every game? I don't get it. It baffles me. It genuinely drives me insane. Now, let's come back down to reality. It was a beautiful performance yesterday. Wonderful. I loved watching it. I enjoyed it. It's the most fun I've had watching a Madrid game in months. We should not be too excited. And I know that I'm going to be seen as the more pessimistic, maybe even most pessimistic Real Madrid page of all time. That is not my goal, guys. I just like to look at things from a realistic perspective. Being delusionally confident that a squad that has not given us much hope this season and faith and saying we're going to win the Champions League, that's not what being a Real Madrid fan is. What being a Real Madrid fan is, in my eyes, is the Real Madrid fans of the last 10, 15, 20 years that have had the most high expectations, have been the most demanding, and have been the most harsh. That has gotten us 6 Champions League titles in 10 years. This new Gen Madrid stuff of but he did this for us and blah, blah, blah. No, that doesn't cut it. Look at how we treat... I'm not saying this is the right thing, but I'm saying that there is undeniable evidence that this has led to the success of this club. We treated Casillas horribly. We treated Ramos horribly. We treated Cristiano Ronaldo horribly. We treated Bale horribly. We treated all these players terribly. Yet we won 6 Champions Leagues in 10 years. That's how cutthroat the world of soccer is. Football, whatever you want to call it. That's how cutthroat it is. That's how cutthroat Real Madrid is. That's how cutthroat Florentino Perez is. And it's led to undeniable success. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not rocking with this whole like, oh, a guy has gone 20 games without a goal, yet we're still talking about, oh, he's one of the best players in the world. No, fam. No. No, that's not how it works. Right? So let's come down to earth. 6 goals against 9th in League One Monaco. No disrespect to them. That doesn't do much for us. I want to see convincing performances week in, week out. I am hopeful. I'm optimistic that happens. I want it to happen. That's what I want. But until we start to see it on a consistent basis from Vinny, from Mbappe, from the entire team, a desire to play, a desire to compete, a desire to win, consistent, reliable performances, then we can get into it. Okay? Then we can start to be a little bit more positive, more faithful. There's also something I want to discuss briefly that I saw this morning that wasn't in my initial notes. Give me one sec while I pull it up. But before we get to that, let's go over to some other talking points that I had. After his goal, Vinny hugged Arbeloa. I think that is a clear indicator to show even further, yo, I really did not mess with Xabi Alonso. It's just like, bro, what's in the past is in the past. Just forget about it. Maybe that's not what was going through his head, but that's how I feel. Just like when he posted that apology about how he stormed to the tunnel during El Clasico, he apologized to everyone in that post except Xabi. And some of you guys are in my comments talking about Vinny wasn't causing problems in the dressing room. Vinny didn't have beef with nobody in the dressing room. He's just in bad form. I'm like, are you that delusional? No offense to you as the viewer, right? Like, I wouldn't be where I was without you guys. And there's a lot more of you on TikTok. There's about nearly 6 grand of you on TikTok and only like 60 of you on YouTube. Hoping to grow this YouTube. But it's like, are we serious? Like, it's very obvious him and Xabi hated each other and that caused problems in the dressing room. You don't need somebody to directly come out and say that happened for you to know it. So yeah. You know, Arbeloa, I guess they get along more. I wrote down that Arbeloa is going full Ancelotti mode. Just let them play in the formation that they want, and that's it. And I think that will work against Monaco. That worked 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, in Ancelotti's first spell. We are in the most tactical, A to B, all played out, all scripted football we have ever been in the history of the sport. There has never been more of a time in history where soccer was literally mapped out play by play like the NFL or like college football here in America than it is now. There is less freedom and creativity and expression from players now than there ever has been in the history of the sport. So the whole pick a starting lineup and then vibes and power of friendship will never work in this day and age. You have got teams with a coaching staff of 5 to 15 dudes, guys watching tactical analysis and doing breakdowns of every opponent they play, week in, week out, looking at the strategies that they could use against them, looking at where they're weak, looking at where they're strong, what's going to hurt them, what's going to hurt us, what's going to hurt the other team. They're going through all this film. They're doing play-by-play passages in training. All 11 guys on the field, shadow play. The ball's going to go from here to here to here, then do this, then do this. That's how we're going to score. They're doing the same thing defensively. In what universe is a team of 11 world-class elite players that has gone through the script and their plays over and over and over and over again 4 weeks leading up to their match against us, gonna lose when we go out there with a starting lineup of guys that don't work hard, are not passionate, do not run, do not care, frankly, with zero game plan and just vibes and the power of friendship? Tell me how that's going to work. Tell me how the vibes and the power of friendship in this day and age, not 2 years ago, not 3 years ago, not 5 years ago, is going to work against Arsenal, Bayern Munich, PSG, Barcelona, City. It's not. It won't. It never will. We will never win off of vibes ever again. You heard it here first. It doesn't work. This is why I'm so upset with the sacking of Xabi Alonso, because the guy clearly proved he has a good tactical acumen when he has players that are willing to work and have faith in the system. He never had that, not even for a day at Madrid, and still had a 74% win rate. He abandoned his tactical philosophy 2 months into the season because the players just didn't want to do it. They weren't willing to do it. I truly think Xabi Alonso could have defined a generation at this club had he been given the players that actually wanted to work. Now, the same argument that I made for us being a cutthroat club and that led to undeniable success, I can probably make the same argument for this, like to counter my own argument. I can say, well, coaches coming in and managing players rather than coaching players, not really giving them tactics, just kind of letting them play, has also led to undeniable success in the recent few years. And that's the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Where is it? Gareth Bale came out and said, so this is the name of the article by Jamie Spencer, Gareth Bale highlights critical mistakes Xabi Alonso made at Real Madrid. Gareth Bale said it wasn't a surprise to see Xabi Alonso leave Real Madrid so soon after joining the club, admitting his ex-teammate made the mistake of trying to be a coach, so in a tactical sense, rather than a manager, so in a man-to-man dealing with people rather than players sense during his 8 months at the Bernabeu. Alonso enjoyed great success at former club Bayer Leverkusen, whipping into shape a team that was threatened with relegation when he initially arrived and taking them to a first-ever Bundesliga title the following season in 2023-2024. In addition to DFB Pokal success and defeat in the Europa League final, Alonso was one game away from completing an unbeaten treble that year. The Spaniard achieved it through his coaching ability as a master tactician, but Bale, who played alongside Alonso for a season in 2013-14, believes that was the wrong approach and coaching players at Real Madrid was never going to work. So here it is, an argument against my argument. Bale is saying that it's never going to work at Real Madrid. It's always been where they're just managing players, dealing with personalities, dealing with egos, and not coaching, not giving tactics. That's how it's always been, and that's what's worked for the last 10, 15 years. Undeniable success. The only reason why I say it will no longer work, I could be wrong. I'm not perfect. But the only reason why I think it'll no longer work is because we are now in an era where soccer is the most tactical it has ever been. Vibes no longer work against a hard-working system. Think about it like this. If you want to start a business, you don't just wake up and just start randomly doing stuff and go with the flow. You have a plan, you go through it diligently, you execute. You want to do well in school? You have a syllabus, you have a curriculum, you study, there's a plan, you execute. You want to do well in your career? There's clearly rules and regulations that the business has or that your work has. There's systems that you follow and take and do, and you execute. And that's how you get the success. I know soccer is a bit different from all those things, but I'm just saying, try to look at it from that perspective. Maybe I'm proven wrong. Who knows? Maybe the power of friendship will win us 7 Champions Leagues and 40 La Ligas and 25 Copa del Rey. Actually, we can never win Copa del Rey, but you guys get the point. So Bale continued, it doesn't surprise me that he's gone. Bale said while appearing on TNT Sports this week, I understand perfectly how Real Madrid works, and if the results don't come, and there don't have to be many, you're out. Xabi is an incredible coach, what he did at Bayer Leverkusen, winning trophies, coaching the team incredibly well, but when you arrive at Real Madrid, you don't need to be a coach. More than being a coach, you need to manage the egos in the dressing room. You have to calm egos. You don't need to do a lot of tactical work. You have stars in the dressing room who can change games in the blink of an eye. The 3 managers that have enjoyed the most success at Real Madrid in the 21st century, Vicente Del Bosque, Carlo Ancelotti, and Zinedine Zidane, boasting 8 Champions League titles between them, with Los Blancos all have one main thing in common. None are considered expert tacticians or coaches in the way that Pep Guardiola, Johan Cruyff, or Jurgen Klopp might be. But what they share is exceptional man management skills, the ability to work with egos, and command respect. Despite playing for the club for 5 years himself, Alonso seems to have missed the brief. He tried to do much of his own stuff, the things that had brought him success in Germany, and it didn't align. And I think the reason why is because he understands we are in the most tactical age of football ever. Okay? So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Only time will tell. I'm not one that is completely void of criticism. I will admit when I'm incorrect, but all I'm saying is over 95% of the things... wow. If you know, you know. Anyways. Sorry. Back to the video. I completely lost my train of thought. Shit. Where was I? Hold on. Whatever. Next talking point. Danny Ceballos, what the hell, bro? That's all I'm going to say on that. What the hell, fam? Come on. Now, another thing. 2 more things, and we'll wrap up the video. I actually have my iPad right here. I can pull up FotMob. This whole let's sub on Gonzalo Garcia, who has shown he is more than capable of getting in the box and scoring chances because he is the closest thing to a target man and genuine, pure, authentic 9 that we have in the squad. And we sub him on to play him on the right wing. This once again proves who controls the club, who runs the dressing room. Vinny and Mbappe. You're telling me 2 guys with 99 pace, exceptional ability to cut in and cross a ball, refuse to play on the right wing because their ego doesn't allow them. He's like, oh, I'm a right footer. In this day and age, right footers only play on the left wing. I refuse to play on the right wing. It's just like, bro, so why would we put on a striker to play right wing when we've got 2 wingers on the field? It just drives me nuts, man. Just drives me nuts. It's just, it really shows who runs the club. Okay. If we look at the stats of yesterday's game, this is actually shocking. Monaco actually had 51% of the ball and 6 shots on target. We had 49% of the ball and 5 shots on target. We had 25 total shots. They had 20 total shots. So we had less possession and less shots on target, but we were just more clinical. We had 6 goals, 5 shots on target, because one of their goals was an own goal. So, granted, their shots on target were very tame. And I think from a defensive perspective, we did well to make it hard for them to carve very, very good chances. But nonetheless, they had quite a few chances. If you are playing against elite opposition with these statistics, Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Barcelona, PSG, you are probably drawing or losing this game. Especially when we do not play with a genuine striker. And when we do, we put them on the right wing because our 2 wingers have the biggest egos of all time when they have done absolutely nothing to warrant having those egos at this club. Did Mbappe win a World Cup with PSG? That's fantastic. He hasn't done anything with us so far. Vinny could have a little bit of an ego because he's won us 2 Champions Leagues, but still. Put it to the side. Sacrifice for the team. That'll never happen, though, just like Gareth Bale said. So, that's all I'm going to end the video on. I've already been going for about half an hour. Let me know what you guys think. I don't hate Vinny Jr. I miss the old Vinny Jr. I strongly dislike this version of him. I strongly dislike Mbappe's, this version of like, yeah, he's scoring all these goals, but at the expense of club success, team success. Let me know what you guys think. Flame me in the comments all you want. I still have yet to be proven wrong by all the statements that I've made. Not to sound egotistical, but if I am incorrect, I'll be the first to admit it. So, as always, take care of yourselves. Hala Madrid.